Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. Today we don't have many spoilers, but the ones we do have are pretty cool. Also, look out later today. We'll be releasing a video going over the spoilers we saw on Friday and at PAX East over the weekend. There will be a link floating around somewhere as soon as it's up. This is gonna be good. The first card we're looking at is Star Woolen Sheep. 2 mana for a 0/5 sheep. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 1 life. You guys know what this means, right? Sheep Tribal Bah! Our new Sheep Overlord is great and limited as an early blocker and helps to stem bleeding pretty well. Gaining 1 life every turn is also nice if you're against any aggressive strategy ever. The sheep is so strong. Riptide Chimeras, a chimera with a shark head, and is that a head of a piranha? 3 mana for a 3/4 flying enchantment creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, return an enchantment you control to its owner's hand. Rip Shark Kai Sharkma is pretty good and limited if you have something nice to bounce, like basically any aura that can just trigger heroic on another creature over and over again. That's just good value. Kiora knows this. Check out that flavor text. I want one of these. That's how you know it's quality. Kiora smitten. Next up is Master of the Feast, 1 colorless and 2 black for a 5/5 flying enchantment creature demon. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent draws a card. Okay, let's just get this out of the way. Nekasar Commander players are freaking out right now. Master of the Feast does exactly what they want it to do. It's basically the funniest thing ever. Outside of Commander, the real question here is whether or not a 3 mana 5/5 flyer is worth this intense drawback. Since card advantage isn't something you normally want to give your opponent, this has to go into an aggressive deck so they don't get too many cards to work with. This rules out all control decks and pretty much most mid-range decks as well. One important thing to note is that they draw the card on your upkeep, not theirs. This means that they don't get immediate card advantage the turn after you play it, so that's something. 3 mana for 5 power with evasion is pretty crazy. You're going to need a strategy that utilizes fast creatures with high damage. I've been waiting for black-red aggro to be a thing again. This might help it along a bit. Not only that, but white-black aggro is picking up steam as well. Both of these strategies could be tailored to kill someone fast enough to not let this drawback destroy you. I can't say for sure if this will be insane or not, but the potential is there. You just have to find the right black-white or black-red shell. As far as mono-black devotion is concerned, I don't think this outs Desecration Demon, but post-rotation, who knows? I still have my money on Herald of Torment. Next is a card everyone is freaking out about, Prophetic Flamespeaker. 1 colorless and 2 red for a 1/3 with double strike and trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. At first, I had no idea what to think about a card like this. Double strike does make the ability potentially trigger twice, so you get to exile 2 cards, which is insanely strong. You have things like Titan Strength and Madcap skills to force damage through and be extremely aggressive. But 3 mana is a lot in a hyper-aggressive red strategy. You're talking about something that has to take the place of either Boros Reckoner or Chandra's Phoenix. Here's where I end up with this card. Boros Reckoner is a thorn in its side and it might not be able to shine fully until after rotation. Once that happens, mono-red devotion-based strategies are going to be looking for a double red mana 3-drop to fill the Reckoner's shoes. I'm not sure if the Flamespeaker is going to be able to fill that role, but double strike and trample with a bunch of good red combat tricks seems pretty sweet. Believe me when I say, I think this card is really good. The card advantage it creates is invaluable. I think the point here is that it needs a good deck built around it that can take full advantage of its crazy card draw. Riddle of Lightning is 5 mana for an instant. Choose target creature or player, scry 3, then reveal the top card of your library, and Riddle of Lightning deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to said creature or player. You might remember this card if you played during Future Sight. Interesting reprint for sure. Very good for limited play since it is an instant. A lot of people are saying it's a better blast of genius, and I can see why. It's an instant speed and costs less mana. While there isn't any pure card advantage, Riddle can do a ton of damage. It's a cool card. Moving right along, we have Twinflame, a 2 mana sorcery with Strive costing 3 for each target beyond the first. Choose any number of target creatures you control. For each of them, put a token that's a copy of that creature onto the battlefield. The tokens have haste and you exile them at the beginning of the next end step. This card is creating a ton of buzz. First things that come to mind: Fanatic of Mogus, Great Merchant of Asphodel, Desecration Demon. The list goes on. Twinflame has a ton of versatility and will definitely find its place into either a red or black devotion-based strategy at some point. It's made to abuse Enter the Battlefield effects, just is. Finally, we have Pharika, God of Affliction. 1 colorless, 1 black, and 1 green for a 5/5 indestructible legendary enchantment creature god. For 1 black and 1 green, you can exile target creature card from a graveyard. That creature's owner puts a 1/1 black and green snake enchantment creature token with Death Touch onto the battlefield. This is not what I was expecting, and I don't think I'm the only one in that boat. However, this ability is crazy interesting, so let's look a bit deeper. 3 mana is just good. We've been over that before. Dredge players are gonna freak out. This card is basically their bread and butter. Being able to create snakes with the plague over and over again seems right up their alley. There are some problems I have though. First, if you exile a creature in an opponent's graveyard, they get the snake. That does hurt a bit. Guess we're all just a little spoiled from scavenging ooze. Another problem I have is she goes directly against cards like Night Howler that depend on graveyards to be stacked with creatures. This is also true for Shadowborn Demon, who has found a home in some of these black-green dredge mid-range strategies. Don't get me wrong, I see what they're going for here. They're moving the dredge archetype to something a little more defensive in nature. Rather than Pharika being an aggressive god at 3 mana, she's there to keep you alive and build an army of your own. If she was meant to be played aggressively, the mana cost on her ability wouldn't be so back-breaking to curving out early game. I think I've figured out where we stand with Pharika. She synergizes well with half of the black-green cards in Standard right now. She promotes self-mill just as much as the next Golgari card. However, she utilizes the dredge style of play as a way to create a defensive position to set up for the existence of a late game. This late game could be used to set up a bunch of constellation triggers since the snakes are enchantments. Pharika might be best served as a mid-range god who creates value out of the creatures you lose in combat. Kind of like Suicide Golgari, but where it's your creatures doing the kamikaze thing rather than you. So a lot of regeneration and mana. This card is so weird. I really want to know what you guys think about all the cards revealed today. There are some serious decisions that need to be made as to whether or not any of these are playable and constructed. How do you all feel? Is this what you expected from Pharika? Let me know in the comments. Remember to subscribe below for the latest and most reliable journey into Nyx spoiler information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.